Fonterra announced in March this year that it was interested in finding a new supply of North Island organic milk to meet growing market demand. Organic certification agency BioGro are working with Wairarapa farmers like Alex and Ann Webster, who converted to organic dairying 8 years ago.
It's a very exciting time right now. Fonterra has just announced that they're going to bring back the premiums. So we think that with a new brand, the anchor brand, that Fonterra is going to be really driving the market. But one of the most interesting things that I see is in 2014, the US market is 11% growth for organic dairy. And it's at 3.9 billion US dollars, which is incredible. What I think is pushing demand is consumer health. If you look at the entry point into most families into organic, it's when they have children. And obviously milk and dairy products are a really key part of that. All of the milk that we produce here has to meet our export partners' standards. We don't have domestic standards here. Well, this is one of our critical issues, I think, that New Zealand doesn't have a national organic standard and it doesn't have a national organic regulation. So it means that all of our farmers here, we have to follow whatever the US or whatever the Chinese or whatever the Koreans say about how we want to do our business. Personally, I think that if we had a regulation that just said any claim of organic in New Zealand should be based on a third-party organic standard that's accredited. And so both of the major organic certifiers here, ourselves, are certified by or accredited by the MPI OOAP program, and all of our inspectors are under that program, so it would be immediately compliant. Let me tell you a little bit about the New Zealand Sustainability Dashboard. It's an interesting program, and it's looking at all the different environmental markers that we have on the farm and taking, say, the number of plants and animals that are on the farm and making a biodiversity marker. And then we can take that and compare farms all the way across New Zealand, so organic farms, non-organic farms. And also we can look at water use, we can look at nutrient cycles, and we can take and actually look at this in real time. And this is part of the program that we're participating in. What I'd like us and the farmers to get out of this sustainability dashboard is really a world-class system, because no one is doing this anywhere, where we can look at really the effects of agriculture on the environment in both positive and detrimental ways, and then make our changes and see what happens. And that's really what I think the world is evolving to. Our connection with Alex and his family and this farm is that we've been certifying them for many, many years. And they're one of the pioneers in organic dairy here in New Zealand. And we've been helping them to tell their story.
We've got 2 dairy farms side by side. We run the young stock on one and the older stock on the other. There's 131 hectares here and 89 next door, but that's the whole farm, so there's a bit less than that with our shoulder belts, etc. We have 3 runoff blocks within 5 k's, and we run our young stock there. We make all our hay and silage on site, and we're a closed shop. We don't bring bulls in, we don't buy in cows, and we make all our supplements on the place. This is our 34th year on this property. We were thinking about heading towards retirement, and we could see that we weren't going to have the sort of backstop base that we wanted, so we decided we'd need to look at further whether we bought another dairy farm or what. At that stage, Fonterra then came up with a program where they offered incentives to convert to organics. We've always been a bit organic orientated. We don't use much Roundup. We never used insecticides, anything like that, because we knew what insecticides did to the worms, etc. So when that program came along, we decided that it looked like it might fit with us, so we thought we'd give it a go. The neighbours, they thought we were Fruit Loops, the word I would use. But I looked beyond that because I could see that there was something there, and I believed that we could make it work. We had our ragwort pretty well under control, and there weren't many problems with big weeds that we couldn't sort. And we were having issues at the time with getting our cows and calf. and we were using a lot of chemical intervention, and we thought, well, how are we going to get around this? It's a head decision for me. In the end, I'm here to make a profit, some livelihood. I know what a lot of people would think, that that's not organics. For organics, you've got to have your heart in it, but I think you can have your head and your heart into it, and that's how we run our business. It's got to be a profitable business, otherwise there's not really a lot of point being in it. Fonterra offered us a percentage where they would pay a percentage of our costs, and then we worked into it, and at the end of that training period and certification period, we got a 20% premium on top of the payout, which was very good. But getting through that process is quite difficult, because each year it got more difficult until your last year of signing off. And at the last year, you have to have no feed on hand. So you finish one day, it's like finishing farming one day and starting farming again the next. And if I'd known we were going to get to that stage, I would have done it differently. We got through it, but it caused a drop in production for that particular coming season. But if I did it again, I think we could manage it better. We're certified with BioGro and have been since we started. So we have an annual audit from BioGro. That can be fairly hard work, but it's all paperwork. It's a matter of having all your T's crossed and having all your paper relevant. That includes herds, all your accounts, everything, all your inputs that you put into the farm has to be right on the money, has to be spot on. I believe the farm's a lot healthier. I believe the stock's a lot healthier. We won't run less stock, but we're doing just as well, if not better. With the premium on top of it, we're doing really fine. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I think it worked well, but it's not going to work for everybody.
I was here 2 years before and then involved with the decisions to make the change to organics. You certainly got to get your head around it. You've got to plan a lot of stuff. It's everything. You've got to have solid plans in place, because if anything goes wrong, there's no band-aids to fix it. You can't just go buy penicillin to fix a whole herd of mastitis. So you've got to have solid plans. You've also, a lot of your practices have got to be really up to date. We fix a lot of ours by prevention and better practices than using anything else to fix the problems. For a personal level, it's been quite satisfying. Staff love it. You know, they've got so much more time. You know, I've got staff here that's been here for 6 years. Once you retain your staff, your own life's easier because they know what they're doing. And just your day-to-day things are a lot more enjoyable. Your cows are calm. You know, it's just not the same sort of stresses.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.